ahead and reconvene our meeting of our special meeting that we had on Sunday for the continuation of a dialogue about the issues of public safety in our city. I want to thank everybody that's here in attendance. I know we've got other board members that are coming in as we speak. We've reserved an hour today, and I've got 7 cards, so I think we're going to have plenty of time for everybody to be able to give us their constructive suggestions and efforts on how we can try and attack these issues of crime. 7 or 8, looks like somebody else is filling one out. And then I want you to know that also on Saturday, this coming Saturday at 10 o'clock, we're going to be I'm going to be, along with other board members, going to be at the Neighborhood Resource Center, the Willie Hinton Neighborhood Resource Center, to have further conversation with our citizens. So people don't just have to come to City Hall to talk with us. We're going to go out to the Neighborhood Resource Center on Saturday at 10 o'clock, and then the following Saturday at 10 o'clock. So I want to give ample opportunity for our citizens to communicate with us on their suggestions and efforts on how we can make our city safer. So I'm going to take these in the order that they were delivered. The first one is from Nyle Daniels on the BCTV Unity program. Mr. Daniels, welcome.
Thank you, sir. How you doing today?
If you pull that microphone up. Yeah, thank you. There.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisa, and me and Nyle Daniels are a part of Better Community and Family Values. We right now play basketball on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We also have class for the youth in our community. We make up about 5 or 6 neighborhood associations who bring their youth to us, or we go and pick their youth up and for about 3 hours, 2 hours. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we mentor them on jobs, conflict management, and we use all that, and then we also invite sports into it also, and just giving them a safe haven. We've had help from, we used one of the local gyms in our community, the East End Gym, as a matter of fact, and we have played basketball. I think the Chief of Police talked about us on Sunday. We worked with him, and he has been very instrumental in helping us reach some of our kids and try to pull them together off the street and do something positive. We played them in basketball, and I think he told you we beat them pretty badly. That was our children.
He acknowledged that y'all beat them.
Badly. We beat them badly.
Oh, you beat them badly? Okay.
Badly. But that event that we threw, we have barbecues for our youth, and we just try to do something different. Now's is over programs and operations. We also have Mr. Chris Alexander, who's not here today, who's over our sports department. But Now's here has some suggestions, I think, and some things to kind of maybe we can start to help us with this plight that we're all in. These are our children out here that are doing this, the fighting and the shooting and all that. And it takes us, just like he told y'all on Sunday, it takes us to get out here and start working with our kids ourselves also. But at the same token, if he hadn't donated us the basketballs to play, and if the city hadn't helped us out with the gym, then we wouldn't have had a place to take the kids to. So the partnership is what is needed in order for us to be able to continue to do what we do as our community group does. You want to go ahead?
Again, my name is Nyle Daniels. I'm the co-founder and the program director for BCLV. First, let me give you a little history on BCLV. The words mean, we took the words from Bloods, Crips, Folks, and Vice Lords and changed it to a better meaning, better community and family values. Everything is about our community. What we do is we first started with sports. That was to get them all together, to show them that they can be around each other without getting into it, having wars, and you're really not enemies. The only reason you say you're enemies is because somebody before you told you was an enemy. So through that, we've got them together, different leagues. We have a group of about 4 or 5 teams, the East End, North Little Rock, West End, Wolf Street, and all that. We've never had an altercation, anything. Our biggest supporter and contributors, Mr. Moore, we thank him for allowing us to use the gym, and Chief, he's one of the biggest supporters. He's constantly asking, okay, how's everything going? Is there anything we can do? So we put together, me and him collaborated, put together the basketball team to try to bridge the gap between the youth and the police. A lot of youth think negative about the police. You have good and bad people on both sides. So on Tuesdays, we allow them to learn things as far as education, peer pressure, conflict resolution, health awareness. We've had people to come in and talk to them about STDs. We try to find things that catch their entrance and to keep them from coming back, tools that they can use to be successful in life. We've also had one of our guys from the program to denounce his gang affiliation, and he signed up for the police department. He's waiting to start the police academy. So we also have thank you. We also have 3 individuals that's going to college. One has already left for college. We have a lot of people from AAUs and different charter schools to come and also look at the guys in sports too, that try to help them, get a little bit ahead as far as their sports. Next month, we're actually going to volleyball. Last year, we did football. This year, we did basketball. Next year, we're going to kickball. Excuse me. Well, we're going to incorporate not just the kids, but the family. It takes interaction with the family. But I think one of our biggest problems is we don't have a building for our kids to go to constantly, all day, where you can learn something, feel safe. If we had a building where we can do that, all of us, the staff, have different work hours, but at some point, a staff member will be there. So at any time, you'll know your child is in a safe place. Also, our biggest problem is transportation, getting the kids to and from the gym. We have to use our personal vehicles to go and pick the kids up. Our program starts at 9, but we don't start till about 9:30 because each one of us has to go. I have to go to John Barrow, pick up a group, bring them to the gym, go to North Little Rock, pick up a crew, bring them back. So some help with transportation would be also wonderful. And then through my incarceration, I have a great respect for a lot of older guys that used to be real active in gangs, which now through incarceration, they have changed their life. If we can get some kind of way to get the video in front of them to send a message out, well, behind these walls, we have come together. We're encouraging that each one of you neighborhoods to come together as well. That can be a very big influence. Also, as part of employment, a lot of these young guys don't have jobs. A lot of them sign up for the summer programs. Some was accepted, some wasn't because they didn't follow up, and I guess their interests failed. But I was thinking, how much does it cost to tear down an abandoned house? You don't have to answer that, but just think if we employed these youth to do those things. We know at this time they're doing something constructive and they're learning something as well. Because you're not going to be working on a construction site and you're not learning something. I know that from experience. But I think those things would be helpful as well as talking about school. When I was going to school, we had trades. I had to take carpentry. And then once my releasement, I started helping people build houses, renovating houses because of the trade that I learned in school. When they took a lot of things out of school, that kind of hurt a lot of people. Instead of just having to go to the metro, they used to do home ec when I was going to school. None of these things are still in the school where you can learn a trade before you get out of school. Hopefully you'll carry that once you get out of school, which will help you direct yourself in what you want to be when you go to college. So I think, if a lot of things want to be solved, me and my business partner and my staff, we have did the footwork. We roll our sleeves up. We go to the different neighborhoods and say, hey, can you stop the madness? I think if we got the support and the funding and the bag up, I think that would be a great asset. I can't promise you and lie and say that it'll totally stop because everybody's not going to be with something positive. But I think that would be a very, very big help. And I thank y'all for allowing us to share with you all about BCLV, and I look forward to hopefully helping you all as well as you all helping us.
Well, thank you, Nyle, thank you, Lisa, and thank you for the work that you're doing. And
sir.
certainly, we're all taking notes on this information so that we can follow up on some of these requests, okay?
Yes, sir.
You bet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next card I have is from Amy Stivers.
Hello. My name is Amy Stivers, and I am a victim advocate for parents of murdered children. And I'm also the mom of Danica Marie Adams, and she was murdered on August 15, 2008, and she was murdered over her car. And this year, on August the 15th, it will be 9 years that my case is unsolved and that I do not know what happened to my daughter. How I became part of Parents of Murdered Children is because my daughter was murdered, and that's kind of where I got started. And for the past 4 or 5 years, I have been a victim advocate that covers the entire state. So I kind of know not just the central Little Rock what's going on, but I also know what's going on in the rural counties. And last year, we ranked number 3 most dangerous city to live in. 2 weeks ago, in our national database, we were the most dangerous city to live in. Little Rock and Pine Bluff are the 2 most dangerous cities in our state. Last year, we were number 7 for the most overcrowded prison systems, ones that are filled with folks with misdemeanors, unpaid fines, or failure to appear, and just for small crimes, not the big ones. So there needs to be a change there. We need to take the drug addicts and the druggies that are in these prison systems and that are crowding our prison systems and stop building other prisons and build a rehab or a place for these people to go so that they can get out of these places and be productive in society. We lack program services in rural areas. That has become a real big problem. Our victims' rights are being violated left and right. We are one of the very few states that don't have victims' rights in place. We do have a victims' rights law. However, it is not a constitution, which allows our victims' rights to be violated over and over and over, especially in the rural areas where there are no services provided for them. Let me back up. I have been attending all of these meetings. I have been going to all of the Victory Over Violence. I've been attending as many as I can. And what I'm finding there are the people that get up and speak that are on the microphones, they are organizations. They are people that either have a heart for it or a passion for it, or something has happened to them, or they've gotten out of the prison system. They're doing something to change their life. And I think what we need is one resource. We need a website that has all of these resources, all the victim providers, so that if you're sitting in Gosnell, or you're sitting in Fayetteville, or you're sitting in Little Rock, by a push of a button, you can find all of those victim providers and all of the good organizations that I have been hearing about that nobody really knows about. In fact, a lot of people don't even know that Parents of Murdered Children exist. And I think there are a lot of solutions to what we're going through right now, and one of the main biggest solutions is us as parents. As parents, we have gotten away from the number one rule, that is, our children are to obey our parents. We are obeying them instead, and that's kind of where we find our problem. We need to pay attention to what our children are listening to, the video games that they're playing, the people that they're hanging out with, and what they are doing. And if you choose to be a deadbeat parent and not pay attention to your child and not be involved in your parent's life, then we could have organizations such as the OK program. The OK program targets our youth. And yeah, a lot of people want to complain because it may be a black on black. But let me tell you, by my statistics, 78% of our crime is black on black community. I don't think that the OK program is saying that a white person or a Latino person can't come in there. I just think that they are targeting the community that needs to be targeted. Right. And also, we also need to listen to these organizations, these that provide great help to victims of violence, and we need to fund these programs. Do you know that we help over hundreds of people, parents of murdered children, and every single month we struggle to keep our doors open? I am on TV, I am begging the community for help. I get none of that. Another thing that Parents of Murdered Children does is we honor our loved ones, and we bring our loved ones together, and each year we do that at the Capitol. Throughout the year, we hold 3 different ones, but our main one is the Day of Remembrance held in September. And what happens at these is we have all of these state representatives who get up and or other people, they get up with their suits and their high heels and they make all these promises and they hand out their cards and they get these survivors or victims of crimes numbers and they make these promises and they do not finish what they promise. We see them time and time again, year after year, and the only ones that we really know that do care is Joyce Elliott and Representative Charlotte Douglas. Those are the people, the two actually, that I see almost everywhere that I go. Another thing that we need to do is we need to not wait until this happens to us. We need to get involved as a community because this is not my problem and this is not your problem. It's our community's problem. It's everybody's problem. And I think if we all work together and have the resources that we need and start paying attention to what our children are doing and what we're doing in our own homes, that we together as a community can make a difference and we can change this and we can change the statistics that I keep looking up about Arkansas. And we are tired of the national news being in our city because of homicide. So if there's anything I can do to help anyone out here, I will help you. I will find the resources that you need, and I will be by your side throughout all of it. And if there's anything that I can do to enlighten you or let you know what's going on in the rural areas or what's really being, how survivors of homicide are truly being treated, and just anything that I could do, I'm here for all that. Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Amy, and I appreciate certainly your offer of suggestion and help, and certainly feel for you because of the loss that you suffered. The next card we have is Antonio Davila.
How you doing, man?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We spoke to you about a year ago and gave you a gang prevention program that you guys didn't accept. So I'm back today to not tell you that you messed up, but that we should really get together. Our program, the Youth Advisory Board of the Southwest, was created because the youth were going crazy down there. They were getting in trouble. The black kids were beating up on the brown kids were beating up on the white kids, and it was going all the way around. We had to stop that, so we created the Youth Advisory Board. Now, our Youth Advisory Board has programs that we haven't got started because we haven't got funded. We talked about jobs. We have an industry and agency where you get all your industries and agencies together, find jobs for these kids. We have the GED program, which is called School Plus Degree. Gary, Indiana, has a program where their kids, the dropout kids, are going to school, getting their GED at the same time they're getting their associate's degree. Today, they have a girl that's graduated May 20th with her associate's degree, and May 24th, I believe, with her GED. So that's what we need here, programs for our kids like that. Judges have to get involved here. Judges play a very important part here in Little Rock because they understand that these kids are getting in trouble and there's places they could put them, but we have to provide those places for them, whether jobs, whether schools, anything we need. Programs that we write could be funded in the next year or so by other entities. You only fund it one time because, well, Arkansas is rich with what? Who do we got? The Waltons, we got Landers, Tyson, Jerry Jones. We have all the resources. We just have to tap into those resources to tell them to help us. This is the capital city. We need to get the capital city involved. We need the Governor Asa Hutchinson involved in our gang program, and DEA, he knows what's going on in the streets. Medical marijuana, the taxes on that should have went to gang prevention. Now, if Medical Marijuana Board would have talked to the community before it went and made the rules for $500 million to start a company, we would have told them that some of that money from the medical marijuana taxes would have gone to gang prevention. Another thing, we don't have gangs in Southwest, but the media is going to create those gangs by acknowledging that there's a problem. Right now, we don't have a problem with 12th Street or Woodrow or none of those. Those kids just want jobs. They want to get off the streets. You should thank the OGs that did that in the 70s and 80s. They found a way to stop the violence here in Little Rock. We might have to go back to them OGs who their kids are starting to trouble now and tell them, let's control our kids. Let's do it the right way. But it's going to take program. You have bridges up here that are dirty as heck down 630. We can have these kids paint them, beautify them. By the zoo, we could draw giraffes or gorillas or something. You know, we could do something with our beautiful streets out there. I mean, they're dirty. There's a lot of seniors that can't do their yards. We can get these kids to help them do their yards. Beautify. We could stick dumpsters at the end of the block once a week and have these people dump all the stuff they can't afford to take to the dumpsters and stuff. You know, we got to become involved in helping these people to help themselves. Right now, there's no hope. I think the president, who's our president, I didn't vote for him, but he's still my president. We got to give him a shot at some of the stuff. We got to let him know what we want. And I think we could do it all together with the city, the community, and everybody else. Like that one youngster that just said, hey, he needs a van. He needs this and that. Why don't we give it to him? Let's give it to him. Let's give everybody that wants them, let's give them a try. If you don't like them, cut them off next year. But let's do something. We've been talking about problems in Little Rock. In Little Rock, we have the most beautiful city in the world. And we have a presidential library. We got a state capitol. We have our rivers. We got our lakes. We have everything. We spend more money on beautification of Little Rock than we do on gang prevention. That's got to stop. Okay? So I ask you, as council, ward people, let's get involved and let's try to help them. I support Stop the Violence. I support all these other organizations. But if we came at you with 20 organizations today, I bet we get our money tomorrow. So you can't blame you guys. You got to blame us. We got to get out there and organize more people. One church, two churches, fine. But let's say we came in with 20 pastors from 20 churches and some community support. I'm quite sure Tom Brennan would help make us some money. If he does a great cereal drive, I'm quite sure he can help us with gang prevention. Thank you, Mayor, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Antonio. All right, the next card I have is from Reverend Benny Johnson. Benny?
Mayor Stoller, Vice Mayor Webb. I applaud the young man and young lady and Brother Tony for working with our youth. Definitely the money need to go to those programs. Also, if you look at it, funding for New Futures were cut by this board. Had people out in the street doing conflict resolution, talking to the gang members, trying to bring peace and harmony within the community, but yet it was cut. We think that needs to be looked at again. Now, it's very upsetting to me that over the past years, black people have been shot down like animals south of 630 for years. But yet, public safety is supposed to be your number one priority. But a lot of board members never say a mumbling word. Now, what was the sense of urgency 19 homicides ago? What was the sense of urgency when Miss Shirley got shot down in the street, a law-abiding citizen, minding her own business, taking care of kids, shot down the street? What was the sense of urgency before she got killed? What was the sense of urgency when 2-year-old Precious Ramaya Reed was killed back in November? Where was the sense of urgency when 3-year-old Asen King was killed? I'm telling you why the sense of urgency. Because one of the homicides went north of 630 and west of University. White people said we got to do something about it now. Now the powers that be called some of the board members. Now y'all acting like the world is coming to an end. This has been going on for years. We need respect south of 630 just like it is north of 630. I remember a couple of years ago down in the River Market, you had a shooting. Somebody fired up in the air. Mayor Stoller, Bruce Moore, Chief Buckner, they sent out a press release. So how many people are going to send down to the River Market? 50+ police officers. But black people hear gunshots on a regular occurrence every day, all day, and any day. But yet, we're neglected south of 630. Now, I can't speak on everything, but one of our biggest problems in the black community south of 630 is a disproportionate amount of liquor and package stores in our community. People are allowed to lauder, smoke dope, and sell dope right down from the 12th Street police station. Rock throwing distance from a police station, yet the police been called there over 650 times, and since then, 3 people or more than got shot, still nothing's been done about it. Now, City Manager Bruce Moore, I saw an article from 2005 where we talk about this anti-lottering, but still, people are still allowed to lauder, and people are going to continue to get hurt. I don't think there's any city manager in the United States will allow police to be called 650 times, and so other people get shot there, almost killed. They won't allow that. So we need to buckle up. And I was talking to one of our assistant chiefs one day, and it's upset me very much. I talk about that property right there, 12th and Payton. He told me, I told him, he tell me what we trying to do. But I say white people were getting robbed up in the Heights and Hillcrest area. Y'all put a special force up there to make sure white people ain't getting robbed. He turned around and tell me, well, Benny, you know and I know it's politics of everything. Ain't no politics of black people getting killed and shot down like they wild game. That is very unacceptable statement. And in closing, I'm not going to be long. A white police officer, he called me, this is a white police officer. He called me, he said, Reverend Benny, he said, I'm sickened what I was just told. That I was just told that you can't allow stuff to happen up here, but down in the black community, you can let it happen down here. I was told this by a white police officer. And in closing, told another police officer, knowing very well, he said he was upset. He said during lineup, Sergeant told him that a city board member, this is Southwest Precinct, city board member called because loud music was played from one of her neighbor's house. During the lineup, the sergeant assigned one patrol car there for hours to make sure people didn't play loud music. And black people getting shot down like they wild game and animals. That's a very sad statement. And just like that white police officer told me that he was saddened and sickened, I'm saddened and sickened about the politics and the racism that's going on with our city government. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Johnson. The next card I have is from Raziel Aaron.
Good evening. Glad to have an opportunity to come behind my good friend and brother Benny. He touched on some of the things that I was going to comment on, and so I'll only be briefer than what I would have been. Thank you for this opportunity. As many of you know, I'm Raziel Aaron. I'm the president of the Arkansas State Conference of the NAACP, but I'm not here this evening in an official capacity. This is more personal for me this evening. I'm here because I work and shop in the city of Little Rock. My daughter and her family, including my grandson and my son-in-law, live in the city of Little Rock. Let me begin by making public my support for the Little Rock Police Chief, Ken Buckner. I've heard many of the complaints in reference to the Chief's presentation on Sunday evening, and all of those complaints were personal criticisms of the Chief, not based on business. I'm concerned that some may be expecting more of this chief than his predecessor because this chief is African American. I am a former police officer. I hold several degrees, including military technology, sociology, psychology, and current graduate student in criminal justice at ULR. And so some of the things that I'm about to say are based on my experience and knowledge in those fields. Chief Buckner made some excellent points in reference to the factors that influence crime in urban areas to include socioeconomic status, education, and employment. and I agree with all of those points. I also agree that there's a direct correlation between crime and alcohol, and there is certainly no shortage of liquor stores within poor communities. Crime is in part created by politics. Money buys politicians, and politicians approve the locations of these types of businesses. The fact is that many poor communities lack transportation to get to liquor stores in other areas. And the political answer for this dilemma is to allow these businesses to build within walking distance of poor communities, to keep them drunk, broke, and in jail, simultaneously fattening the pockets of the business owners and the campaign funds of many of you. I've heard zero tolerance mentioned. Zero tolerance is not the solution, because it only serves to displace crime to other areas of the city or even into other cities. The police are not the cause of crime and cannot eliminate or reduce crime without the assistance of political leaders that are willing to make hard decisions that may not be popular with their peers. It's clear to me that part of the urgency of addressing the crime in the city is that the crime has jumped the proverbial track, and the hood has now come to you. I've met with Chief Buckner, and we have discussed some proposed NAACP initiatives to reduce the recidivism rate by providing resources to men and women that are currently incarcerated in the Pulaski County Jail and are serving jail time for their alleged crimes, and I say alleged because we know that they're innocent people serving time. Providing them with the resources in reference to employment, education, housing opportunities while they are serving their time to better prepare them for re-entry into society. We can't continue to send them back to the same conditions and circumstances that brought them to jail in the first place. We must develop methods to stop the revolving door from turning. We must repeal city ordinances that deny access of funding to organizations that target specific groups of people based on gender or even race. Young African Americans are in dire need of targeting for help, and the city should be leading the way by providing resources to those organizations that are willing to work with specific categories of people based on need. Finally, in addition to all of these things, we need to show the community a good faith effort in restoring the trust and confidence in the police. Stop allowing the police to investigate themselves. An autonomous body should be used to investigate citizens' complaints against police officers. Part of the issue with citizens and the police is that we have lost confidence and trust in them. And when a citizen files a complaint and you have Billy Bob's brother-in-law or sister-in-law or brother or sister investigating that complaint, 30-year friend of the department investigating that complaint, then typically those complaints are determined to be unfounded. What that causes is more mistrust and lack of confidence in the police that are supposed to be serving and protecting. If you want to restore trust and confidence, you have to start by making the hard decisions, even if your friends and neighbors don't like it. Don't wait until crime jumps the track and then want to come together with solutions. We want to work with you. We want to provide solutions, and we are working on initiatives, but we cannot do all the work. We must stop casting criticisms without solutions. And this is to our African American brothers and sisters. We must stop denigrating and speaking against our people that are in positions of authority. Go to them and express your concerns and constructive criticisms, and then offer solutions. We anticipate pushback from certain groups, but we should not be coming together, well, we should be coming together in unity to support our leaders. I don't ever recall attending one of these meetings when prayer was recommended as a cure to our current dilemma. I suggest to you this evening that if we pray, our help will come. But with prayer, there must be labor. And you cannot just expect the labor to be on us. You got to give us some money, you got to give us some time, and you got to give us the same thing that you're giving to the people on the other side of town. And for this opportunity to address this body and this community, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aaron. We appreciate your thoughts and comments very much. I've got, people keep adding cards to the list, so I just want to let everybody know I've got about 6 cards left. I don't want to in any way try to suggest to contain your comments to a certain amount of time, but if you can try and do that a little bit to about 4 minutes or so, we'll be able to get through all these cards. If not, we're going to be able to take care of these cards at the end of our board meeting as well. So I want to, and again, of course, as I mentioned, myself and other board members will be at the Willie Hinton Neighborhood Resource Center on Saturday at 10 o'clock to hear from additional members of the community, as well as on the following Saturday. So, but so I don't want anybody to feel constrained, but if we can try and be polite to everyone and hold these down to around 4 minutes, I think we can get through the cards that we have here this afternoon. The next card I have is from Raymond Long. Mr. Long?
Thank you for your time. Is there a time or any such around so I can try to adhere to the time that you asked?
Scott? Sure, thank you.
All right. I'm not here to bash or talk bad about anyone. Everything I say is completely from love in my heart. First, I want to issue an apology to victims, families of violence. I want to issue an apology to the chief of police and all the police officers that are serving. Our city has made your job very difficult, more difficult than it has to be. Now, as far as offering solutions to violence, I'll say one word, and that word is mentoring. I know everyone's on the board. You're probably sick of hearing that word. You probably hear it time and time again, but mentoring is the actual answer to the issues our city is having. One of the first things when we start talking about the individuals who are committing these crimes that I see on social media and hear people talk about is they take it right back to parenting. Now, I don't have an issue with committing violent acts, but the issue I have had as an adult is with my finances. Now, my mother, an incredible woman, she didn't really teach me much about finances. And so if my mother had the ability to teach me about finances, she would have. So I think we need to stop blaming parents and just realize that these parents don't have the ability or the knowledge to raise your children in different ways. I would suggest that we add help to these parents, and that is in the form of mentoring. I've heard about 3 or 4 different organizations address you all as far as funding their mentoring programs. And I know time and time again, you keep hearing this, it's the same story. But I have an organization that I formed, and I have a dream of possibly alleviating some of this from your hands. If you would simply just give me time to talk to each one of you individually, each one of you directors that's on the boards, if I can have 5 minutes of your time in the next 6 months, just listen to what I have to say, then maybe some of the funding of these organizations who have organizations that are in need, maybe they can get the help that they receive, the help that they need. I'll also leave by saying this. The Bible talks about love, and it talks about love covering a multitude of sins and issues. Adults are growing up, young adults, teenagers are growing up committing these crimes because of the lack of love that they're receiving, the lack of love from their parents, possibly, the lack of love from the community, the lack of love from mentoring programs not being funded to actually be there. Right, so just do me a favor, all right? If you want to resolve violence, Let's do it with mentoring. Right now, if I lost my mind, I decided I wanted to hurt someone on this very board that's in front of me, all right? The police officers are behind me, right? But before they can react, it's already done, all right? Similar in the streets, police officers can't be everywhere. So we can hire more police officers, we can increase the force, but it's not going to solve the fundamental problem of what's in people's hearts. Love and mentoring solves the issue that's in people's hearts. So join my foundation. I won't even say the name of it because I'm not here for free advertisement. I'm here to be in front of you all and let you all know that I have a plan, I have a solution. So I'm calling on each and every one of you. I promise I will send the emails out. Right? Just give me the time, 5 minutes, and listen to what I have to say. All right. Thank you all for your time.
Well, thank you, Mr. Long, and I'm sure that every one of us will be happy to sit down and visit with you individually. The next card I have is from Larry McClendon.
Good evening, board, peoples. I am a fellow ex-convict. The reason I say ex is because once convicted, you always convicted. Speaking about the chief of police, I have a homeboy who was one of my guys that I looked up to when I was growing up, Glenn King. I seen him come in here earlier. We convicts are the help that you would need to solve some of these problems. Somewhere down the line, some of you policemen are going to have to work with me and some of the other guys here. And you have to trust us. You have to get out here on these streets and walk with us and ride with us and talk with these young kids. Parents. I'm gonna speak to the parents. This is for the parents and parents only. We know that you are raising your kids the right way, some of you. You cannot be friends with your kids. You cannot be best friends with your kids. You have to treat your kids as they are. Because if you don't, you're gonna have a problem overflooding the prison systems. Right now, our prison systems is very, very, very flooded. We have violent and nonviolent offenders all bashed in there together, which is wrong. When I was in prison, I was a violent offender. There's no way a nonviolent offender should have been in there with me. Not at all, because he learned things, or she learned things of how to be violent, how to come out here and create problems for you all. And as Benny was saying, north and south of 630, I'm a victim of the South 630. I'm a proud member of South 630. I am a proud member of the human race. We all are proud members of the human race. I'm a proud parent of a 7-year-old daughter. And there's no way that I want my daughter to be brought up out here in these streets to witness some of the things that goes on in these streets. I implemented a program called Motivational Intercept and Community Development. It's a 501c3. I started it in Jacksonville, Florida, for reentry programs there. When I got out of prison, I moved to Florida, and that's where I was at for the first 6-7 years of my freedom. I learned quite a bit from the mayor and the chief of police there in Jacksonville, Florida. I worked hand in hand with them to help them to reach guys who were homeless, ex-felons, ex-military people. And I found out that there's only one way that we can solve a problem. We all have to work together hand in hand. We have homeless people out here. And what I've learned about homeless people, you never can underestimate these people. You never know where they come from, what their background was. They are very helpful if you allow them to be helpful. And this is one of the things that I'm trying to implement in my program is help. We need help. We need to educate our young people. In 1972, I went to prison at a young age, 16 years old. I went to Tucker. And at Tucker, they had a program called,
Go ahead and finish, Mr.
at Tucker,
Larry.
they had a program called vocational education. I took vocational education. I learned how to do body and fender work. It was a form of rehabilitation. We don't have rehabilitation anymore. If we can start rehabilitation, whether we start it here or in prison, it would help our kids a great deal. If we can start it in the communities where we live at, it would help a great deal. As I told the mayor about 2 weeks ago, we have job fairs. When we have job fairs, we take the job fairs and send them way out in the middle of nowhere. Our kids cannot go to these job fairs. They can't catch the buses and get to these job fairs. The reason why, they don't have any money. They don't have any transportation. If we take the job fairs and take it to Dixie or wherever else and put it in the community, we can help. We can reach some people. We can reach some of these people who are worthless, as we call them. Some of these people who are violent offenders, they're not violent. They just need to make a way to receive some form of employment, simple employment. Somebody would be glad to make $6 and $7 an hour if we bring it to them. If we take it to them, we have to take it to the communities instead of sending it way out somewhere else where we can't reach it. Buses will stop running, and we need to try to reach these people. Like Mr. Daniels was saying, we need transportation. If we can get transportation and bus these and take these people to these job sites, we might be able to solve some of these problems. But other than that, we're not going to be able to solve it. But we're willing to work hand in hand. My program and some of the guys that just got out of prison, we're willing to work hand in hand with the police officers to try to help you out here on these streets. And we're not staying in the house. We're coming outside. We foot soldiers. We are not afraid of anything that these young kids have to offer at all. Not that we are bulletproof, but we understand. We've been there, we've done that, and we are willing to help you, Chief Buckner, if you are willing to give us the opportunity to help you. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McClendon, and just for the board members' knowledge, I met with Mr. McClendon and several of people who have been in prison with him, and they have come forward to suggest in a variety of ways their willingness to assist in reaching these people in the streets. Director Richardson, did you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I didn't know the process, but I was trying to buzz you before we put this arbitrary time limit on the conversation. It would have been more appropriate for me to say we're not going to take any more cards. So I don't think it's fair to the issue, fair to the people to say we're going to have 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I know typically citizen communications is 3 minutes, but before we start the clock, I was going to tell you I found that problematic because how many Saturdays and how many people will it take for us to say we've reached our threshold? I mean, we have a process right now. We invited people to come down here tonight, and then where do we get that 4 minute mark from?
The point is that we have a board meeting as well. So I've mentioned that we will take all of the cards and stay here until midnight if we need to. So
Well, I think I hear you on that, Mayor, but this part is directed towards this issue. We're going to have a host of issues on our agenda. It's directed towards this issue. It may not resonate with you or my colleagues. I have no desire to spend any more time here like I didn't have any desire to come down there on Sunday. So I just think that in order to be fair to the process and fair to the people who came down here tonight, I think that, to me, that's problematic. And I don't know how any of my colleagues feel about it, but I think it's something we need to take in consideration if this is an emergency and a crisis that we've been portraying it to be.
thank you. The next card I have is from Dawn. I don't have a last name. Dawn, come forward, please.
Well, my name is Darin Jeffrey, and I'm assuming I'm a member of Ward 5, but I have community ties with Ward 6, which is Miss Wright. And I believe like the part of the problem is we don't even know we're separated into wards. I didn't know who my director was, and that's a part of the problem. People in the community, you guys are supposed to be our advocates, but a lot of the time we don't even know who you guys are. So how are you reaching the community, and how are you finding these people? I did happen to attend the meeting on Sunday, and I thank Mr. Richardson for actually speaking on that issue, because we were here on Sunday and it's an emergency, so we need to get it handled as quickly as possible. Now, you ask us how we got here. It's been years, because I'm young. I'm 27, so I believe when Banging in the Rock, that was in the 90s, and so you had a problem back in the 90s. And the thing is, we're coming back here, and you're declaring another emergency. But the problem is, it's a continual problem. Something wasn't fixed. It comes from funding, finances, the jobs. People are out here hurting, and like another person said, we have no hope. You're taking hope from the kids. So if they don't have anything to look forward to, anything to aspire or grow to, they're out here lost. And so I'll tell you what created the sense of urgency. I heard Mr. Hines say what happened was the 6 degrees of separation hit. And what that means is, like Officer Bean said, it's been happening. It's been happening. But what happened was it got so close into you guys' neighborhoods and you guys' communities that you decided to act. We've been dealing with these issues. I'm on both sides, because I've had friends who have been murdered, friends whose cases are unsolved. And so it hurts my heart on both sides, but I know a lot of these people just don't have the funds. They don't have the jobs, no transportation. That's a continuous issue. I work in the community, and I don't agree with someone who said, well, where are these community cleanups? I actually did a community cleanup. It was in different neighborhoods. It was on 12th Street. We did one in John Barrel. I'm not 501c3 funded yet, and I hope to be, because everything I'm doing is from the people in the communities. I'm not saying it is because I haven't asked, but not 1 cent has come from the city. This is the community stepping up and saying, hey, we see we have a problem and we're trying to address it. Another thing you said, you hope to get more police on the force, and you said you asked him. I think Mr. Richard asked him several times, do you think police will solve the problem? Several times Chief Buckner said no, but several times I heard you guys each offer support to fund and get more staffing. I think he said he might need $5 to $8 million. Why not put some of that money to the communities and the people that are trying to make the communities better? Because it's hard for me to understand how people that are sitting in unaffected areas are the ones that are making decisions on affected areas. The people need to be involved. You can't keep trying to go over the community and not solve the issue. You have to get involved with the people. Like, might I recommend you start hosting? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you guys do go into your communities and interact with the youth, because the youth is who needs to know you, because younger faces will come before you. The faces will get younger and younger, because people are tired. People are getting tired of the violence, and we're tired of the unjustness. And the last thing I want to address is just the parents. I'm a single parent. You know, I have a daughter, and my thing is, if I work a full-time job, try to improve my circumstances by going back to school, what time do I really have to be an active parent for my daughter without falling behind? Because rent is high, insurance isn't going to stop coming, those bills aren't going to start coming. So I have to try to find a balance. And these programs you guys continue to say exist, make them accessible to people. I don't care if you have to find people in your campaign or whatever you do to pass out pamphlets. Here's how you contact us. Here are resources available for childcare, so your children aren't out. It's not a curfew, zero tolerance. None of those things will help, because if it's happening at all times, jobs. People are just tired. And I believe that's what you're seeing. And I believe 3 to 5 years from now, if you don't stop cutting funding and don't start and keep putting all the money into the police, we'll be right back here having this same discussion, talking about we're in a state of emergency when we've been here several times before. So what are we going to do now that's going to change the situation?
Thank you, Ms. Jeffrey. William Graves?
My name is William Graves. I've been advised by friends and stuff to not acknowledge to you all that I've done 33 and a half years in prison. But it's something that I acknowledge, and not that I'm proud of it, but because y'all can go get on computers and telephones and everything and find out everything you need to know about me anyway. So I decided to go ahead and cut through the chase on it, to just get that on out the way. Now, people ask me, what have I done since being out of prison to make me a relevant candidate to help not stop the violence, but stem the violence, because I don't care where you go in the United States or in the world, you're not going to stop the violence, but you can slow it down, you can stem it. My resume is that in prison, and I understand that that's a closed environment, but it's a dangerous environment. You know, they ain't popping pistols or nothing like that, but they sticking, you understand, with knives and beating you in the head with baseball bats and stuff. Even the officers are scared of them. But I'm one of the very few guys that's been incarcerated that the youngsters paid attention to me. They looked up to me. They gave me the nickname Uncle Willie. Every guy in here that has ever been to prison would speak high volumes of myself. The guys on the streets that have been to prison would do the same thing. Since being out here, being on the streets, Victory Over Violence was the first time I started being introduced to programs that's in Little Rock that's being directed towards stopping the violence. There's numerous of police officers that I stop and talk to on a daily basis, tell them who I am, what my goal is, while here in Little Rock, and I think I've talked to about 30 police officers. I know that myself, Larry McClendon, and about 5 others that we recruited together, that if you people would give us a chance, we can help stop it. The one thing I have did since I've been home, I've kept up with statistics. I come on December 23rd, 2014. 2015, violence was, let's say, at this time of the year, about 8 or 9. 2016, it was about 11 or 12. 2017, it's 19. So what they told me was the people that are making these 6 figures to stop the violence, or even slow it down, they're not succeeding. What I'm willing to do, and I'm not trying to cast stones at nobody, I want to work with Chief Buckner, Doc Holliday, anybody else that's willing to trust us ex-convicts. Because I don't care what y'all think, what y'all say, you're not going to stop or stem this violence without utilizing people that done lived this life, done walked that walk, and done been in the trenches where these youngsters are trying to go. We done been there. I know that I can make a beautiful contribution. Another thing I wanted to talk on was that I've been home 2.5 years. Ain't nobody in here can say Willie Graves except Ken. I went to Ken for aid. That's been it. Since being home, I haven't received any form of assistance from none of these so-called programs that were designed to help ex-convicts. From nobody. I'm talking about nothing. I got some food stamps, and I was really mad at myself for getting for having to go to the point of getting food stamps, but it was needed. Right now, I've been on the verge of being a homeless person. My family stepped in and gave me a helping hand. I'm not asking for no help right now, but I'm showing you it's other guys gonna come out here that if the programs ain't set up to deal with guys when they come out of prison, then they're going right back. And it ain't gonna take 6 months for them to go back. Because when they get out here, when they get hungry, what they gonna do? They're gonna go take something. I didn't do it because I had the discipline and the family, and I believed in the church. I put God in front of me and made up my mind I'm never going back to prison again, and I'm gonna do everything I can to stop our younger people from having to walk the same walk that I walked. All I ask is you people give me a chance. I don't have no organization behind me that I can put up and show y'all where I did this here and I did that there. But I got on this phone right here, this telephone, in 2016, when I just up and told the kids at Moody Chapel Life Center, every kid that finished on the honor roll at the end of the school year, I'm gonna give you $5. I'm one of the poorest people in Little Rock, you understand? But I threw that out there. When I said it, I was thinking it wasn't gonna be no more than 5 or 6 kids that would make the honor roll. At the end of the school year, when I went to work at Moody Chapel, I'm a volunteer, all I heard was a whole bunch of foot running into the light center. Where Uncle Willie? Where Uncle Willie? Where Uncle Willie? I went out there, and there were 14 kids. I made the honor roll, Uncle Willie. I made the honor roll. I went out paying out $70, but it was one of the best $70 that I ever paid out in my life. And as a reward for paying out that $70, an older white woman heard about it, and she asked me, "Are you the guy that gave rewarded the kids for making the honor roll?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Are you gonna do that again next year?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna try to do it every year that I'm alive and on this earth, and hope that it catches on with other people." That woman gave me $100 and said, "This is a start for you in 2017, and this is the month where I got to get ready, you understand, to start paying them kids out." And with that, I'm gone.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Uncle Willie. He also paid a visit with me, and I think the issue of getting people with street credibility into the streets helping is very important, and I want you to know we're listening to that, and we're trying to work on how we can get that done. So I think it's very important. The next card I have is from Robert Webb.
Good evening, Mayor, City Board, City staff. I'm not going to belabor the point, but this is kind of pointless, right? And I'll tell you why. Because in 2011, Director Hendricks put forth the ordinance for residency. It was voted down. You say, well, why is that significant? Because the reason people commit crimes, just like Uncle Willie said, they need money. They need jobs. So if we're going to keep talking about police, we might as well all go home. Because this is a joke. This whole thing is a joke if we're going to keep talking about police. It's a joke. With the exception of Director Richardson and Director Hendricks, I want to exclude them from the rest of the things I'm about to say, because they have been supporting causes that we need in the black community. They've been doing that, but they haven't had support. I want to exclude Director Beck and Director Webb because they weren't here then. But everybody else was here. So let's have a conversation, a real conversation about what needs to happen, right? Well, what we need to do is we need to put some money out there for jobs. We need to talk to the Chamber of Commerce. We get them $3,000 every year. I'm sorry, $300,000. Forgive me. I'm a little excited. But we get them $300,000 every year. But we don't challenge them to employ young black males. Young black males are committing the crimes. But we don't want to have that conversation either, do we? Because Director Richardson introduced a day ordinance. What would that day ordinance do? It would give bid preference to companies that hired disconnected youth and adults. Black folks from the community. Now, this ain't something that just happened this week. We talking about 2-3 years ago. That was before you, and y'all shut it down. But now y'all want to talk about crime, right? Yeah. Let's keep having a conversation about crime then. So in 2011, you passed a sales tax. That was for us to be safe and have more jobs. Y'all feel safe? Now, when we passed that sales tax, the police budget was $46 million. Today, it's $66.9 million. Yeah, let's keep having that conversation. The city's total budget in December of 2016 was $189 million. Come on, y'all. But let me tell you what we did with prevention, intervention, and treatment. But we serious about crime. We serious about crime, but we spent $66,900,000 on the police budget to respond to crime because they don't prevent it, they respond to it, right? Prevention, intervention, and treatment, $5.5 million. Can I get an amen, somebody? Amen. Lights?
Let's try and.
We've
let
talked
Mr.
about
Webb finish,
this.
please.
We've talked about this. We brought proposals before you. And people say, well, I don't want to get up here and bash y'all. I'm not bashing you. I'm just giving you your truth. That's your truth. You've had opportunities to fix this problem. You can't fix it with police. Chief Buckner said 8 times, police can't fix it. I can put a policeman on every block, and I still can't prevent these homicides. But yet y'all kept saying to him, go ahead, hire more police. Why? Lance, you my friend. We went to Central together, man. I got love for you. But you insulted me Sunday, man.
Let's not make it personal, please.
How can it's personal? It's personal, man. It's been personal. Mayor, when your friends start dying, you tell me how it's not personal to you. I can name you brothers that done died. We all know them. That's right. It's always been personal to us. It ain't never been personal to y'all. It's always been personal to us. Now, again, let's get back to the solution. Let's get back to the solution. The solution is you got to put your money where your mouth is. You can't window wash us no more. You can't pat us on the head and slide us on out the door no more. You got to put something before us. And when I say something before us, what I mean is we need jobs in the black community. We need jobs. Anything else you bring before us is pointless. Anything else you bring before us is pointless. Pointless. Okay, we need money for programs. Not gonna deny that. But after the program, what am I do when I'm hungry? What am I do then? When I'm hungry, I'm gonna rob somebody if I got to. I mean, I think Trading Place was a perfect example of that. You look at what happened. Dan Aykroyd was an upright citizen, wasn't he? All of a sudden, he lost his job. He was still in Simon and toting a gun. Why does that not resonate with anybody on this board? Really? We've been having these problems forever, y'all. This ain't new. This ain't new. Office of Reentry. We talked about the Office of Reentry. It's been reduced to a grant giveaway. That's not what we had envisioned for the Office of Reentry. It's a grant giveaway. It's a grant giveaway. I hate to be the one to come up here and do this because I consider y'all to be my friends. But if I can't tell my friends the truth, I can't tell nobody the truth, can I? Seriously. Man, this is insulting, y'all. Y'all know how to fix this problem. They have brought it to you. Richardson and Hendricks have brought it to you. And you voted down. But now you're sitting there saying, you don't understand why we got the problem. Yeah, you do. You helped create the problem. You can't do that. If you really want to fix the problem, you have to get the Chamber of Commerce involved. We created a sidewalk program. We were fortunate enough to get 10 brothers on a sidewalk program. They put it up one day. They had to take it down because 150 folks applied for jobs. They had to shut it down, right? It netted indication, and it was for ex-felons. Ex-felons. Chief Stewart said, that's a great program. I wish we had more spots to give away. That was the police chief, the former police chief. So now we're saying we don't know how to fix the problem? We still don't know how to fix the problem. I'm just curious. We don't know how to fix the problem. Jobs is how we fix the problem. Jobs. Jobs and consideration. We need consideration. We need y'all to consider us like y'all consider them. Jobs and consideration. Jobs and consideration. Can I say it again? Jobs and consideration. Say it with me. Jobs and consideration. Thank you.
The final card I have is from Jimmy Hinton. Jimmy Hinton.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Board community. My name is Jimmy Hinton. I am from Little Rock, born and raised. My family's from here. I'm kind of on both sides because I'm educated, but I've been to prison. Okay? I'm not here to blame anybody. That's not my job. But what I am here to do is to speak on the African American man because we have an issue in the city of Little Rock. It is not, and I am an evangelist. God has moved me from a pimp to a preacher. So I don't have to come and play games and all that. In the Garden of Eden, God gave Adam two things. He gave him an image and employment. We have to get the faith, we have to get the community of faith involved with the city, okay? We do need employment. We need to fix I know 20 that I talk to. I got a 501c3. I'm on Facebook. I'm an evangelist. I talk to the community. I'm in the hood. The killings that just happened, that's gang related. You killed my cousin, so I'm going to kill your sister. But that's a demonic influence. That has nothing to, okay, we don't have the money, we don't have the jobs, but they need to know who they are. Right now I could go outside, go around the block, make one call, and I can get a kilo of cocaine and go back to selling cocaine. But it's only because of God's grace and mercy and his power that changed my soul to where I don't want to, you can bring it to me now and I don't care nothing about the drugs because I have a changed mindset. You cannot change your life, African-American men, until you change your mindset. You cannot live above your thought life. I did 5 years in the state. I did 2 years in the Fed. Okay? There's no right way to do wrong. That's what I found out. But you have to give me something. You have to afford me the opportunity. When I came out of prison, I reoffended. Now, I'm highly intelligent, very articulate, been to college. I got all of that. But that wasn't it. I was looking for how can I make a living, okay, and feed my family. See, because when I'm in a lack, what Satan gonna do is play with my mind, and then instead of me waiting on some help, I'm gonna go around the corner and buy a half a pound. But if we change our mindset by offering programs, the African-American man has a spiritual demonic influence over this city. We need to break that by giving them they need to change their mindset. They need to have opportunities for employment. African-American man needs to know who he is in Christ, and he needs employment. That's the only thing that changed me. It wasn't a program. We need them. I've been trying to get in front of these kids in this city. People know me. I'm from the street. I have business too. It's not that. It's not about that. It's about what can I do to contribute to the kids that will put them in a better position, because I've already done what they're doing. I can talk to them about the rap, the dope boys. And see, you can't take no banker and go to the jail and tell him to talk to them. They don't want to hear that. That's right. But if you bring me in and I can meet them where they are, I offered a program through the Little Rock School District to Mr. Poor. I wanted to implement a mentoring program where I have my fraternity brothers. I'm a Kappa. It's 100,000 around. I wanted to bring them in and take the worst kids in each school and take one of the guys and offer them a stipend, just gas. That's all they wanted, just get there and sit down with them and find out what the issue is. I've done that before with my own money. But the school district shot it down. That was just this past year. I understand we're going, I understand the charter school, taking the money out of public school. I get that. But what I am saying, and I'm coming from my heart, I'm not blaming anybody. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. Chief Buckner is right. We don't need, a police officer can't do nothing. It goes Facebook Live before the police even get there. We can quit talking about the police. What we need is more funding for the people coming out of prison. They need to hear God's word to change their mindset, coupled with an opportunity, coupled with give them the advantage to say, okay, I paid for my time. Why are you still stepping on me? Give me an opportunity. The sidewalk program is working. It's not expanded. The sidewalk I just wish you give me the liberty to give me 50 people. I'm talking about drug dealers, gangbangers. I know them all. Just give me the opportunity to give them a job, regardless of their background. And if we can change an African American male's mindset, it has nothing to do. Okay, he's in poverty. Nobody's getting. We can keep on blaming, but God gave me power. God gave me authority. God gave me dominion. And until I tapped into it, I'm out here willy-nilly like everybody else trying to figure it out. But when I found out that God's grace will provide everything that he's already provided, it's not what he's going to do. When I receive that, then now I have the knowledge. You bring me that foolishness. It's not affecting me. But I'm down there in them. I know all the incidents going on. I know about them. We have to tell our community to do something. We need to police our own community. If you hear about something, call the police. If you see something, call the police. We can quit talking about add more police. We need funding in the community. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm coming from Christ because I'm there. While y'all up here in the air, I'm out here in the street. I'm going to schools, talking to kids, meeting them where they are. Because if I can just change one, I've done my job. But I'm bigger than that because God gave me more than that. I got a testimony, and you can't have a testimony without a test. So I'm asking you to use me. I have a 501c3. This ain't about the money with me. This is not about the money with me. I don't care nothing about the money because God is my source. I'm not worried about y'all giving me no money. God is my source. You're a resource. But I am saying if we can come together, this is about a coming together. I don't care about whatever else has happened. I'm talking about right now. The African-American man needs two things. He needs to know his image, and he needs employment. If I can get in front of these people, these African-American men, let them know who you are. You're a king. You got dominion. You got authority. And then teach that so they can receive that. They'll change their mind, and then the crime going to stop. That's just what it is. I understand we praying. I understand we marching. But the Bible says the kingdom suffers violence, and violence take it by force. I'm trying to take it. So I just wanted to get in front of you to let you know who I am, what I am trying to do, okay, what my desire is, and see if we can come together. I'm out here every day. And I just wanted to let you know, hey, I appreciate everything you're doing. Chief Buckner, he doing all he can do. We don't need no more policemen. We the police now. Amen? Amen? Amen.
Well, thank you very much, Jimmy. I think that's a good way to finish up the cards. Certainly, I want to let you know that every act of violence, every homicide, every shooting is of great concern to all of this. And this is not something that we as board members just thought of just because of the last homicide. We care about it, and we have cared about it for a long time and are looking for answers, and that's why we wanted to ask you to come today. And again, to listen and to hear your recommendations and suggestions. I know everyone's taken a lot of notes on these things. Certainly the issue of jobs is critically important. I for one, know that back when I got out of law school a long time ago, they gave $100 and a bus ticket to people getting out of the penitentiary, and here we are 40 some odd years later, and they're still giving $100 and a bus ticket. So obviously, and coming back to the community and making it very difficult for people who've been in prison to succeed. So we recognize that. We look at the city and our programs and try to figure out a way to try and make a better life for people. And so we're going to be taking these suggestions and coming forward with some opportunities and some new ideas about how we can deal with these issues and make our community safer. That completes the cards that I have, and let me remind everybody that we'll be at the Hinton Neighborhood Resource Center on Saturday, and we'll also be there the following Saturday. Now, let me call on Director Hendricks, please. Go ahead, Director Hendricks.
Am I ready? I just wanted to say the young man's gone now, but I interviewed him when he was in the penitentiary. I was once a commissioner for the parole division. And then I wanted to ask that young man that just spoke, is that Betty Roy's son? We went to Sunday school. Okay, I know you. We went to the same church.
Good. Director Wright, you're recognized, please.
Yes, Mr. Moore, I've been making some notes on the recommendations that I've heard. Can you give me a, action plan for employing youth to tear down abandoned houses? Can you get me, an action plan to pay young people to clean up our city? And I would like to,
You know how to get on? Okay.
talk with Reverend Jimmy Hinton about his mentoring program. I'm about to set up a mentoring program at the West Central Community Center. I'll be working with big brothers and big sisters, but I am not opposed to bringing in another resource to reach our young people. And I believe there was a Mr. Long. I did not catch the first name, but he said he had a foundation. Raymond. Okay, I would like to set up a time to meet with you sometime this week. What about tomorrow? Okay, at the West Central Community Center. I'm trying to visualize my calendar. I usually meet people around 10 o'clock. Can you meet me there at 10? Yes. Okay. You know where that is? 4521 John Barrow Road. Okay, thank you. Yes, that's the new one. 10 o'clock. All right. And I didn't catch your name. Okay.
That was in John Barrow last year. I'm also starting popsicles in the park, and we're doing a uniform drive this year.
Okay.
No, I haven't signed up to do
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you come and talk to me? I'm working on a project, and I'd like you to get involved. Yeah. Yeah, talk to Bernard. Yeah, we try.
Director Wyrick, before
you,
we
Mayor.
adjourn this meeting, do you have,
Yes, I do. Thank you.
go ahead, please.
Mr. Moore, we had several of the citizens talk to us about,
If we can have it quiet in here, please.
talk about liquor stores. And I know we have blamed the ABC on providing permits in a number of places. And there used to be some rules and regs on how close you can have a liquor store or package store. And as long as we have liquor stores that are residing in a C3 zoning, that's appropriate zoning for the ABC. I wonder if we can look at our zoning for liquor stores and give us some sort of report or an idea how we might be able to deal with the types of stores that the people were talking about today. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting, please? Second, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. We're in adjournment.